This is the first time that we have had this event take place over breakfast. So I thought it'd be really good to have a food theme for this keynote talk. And that food theme is catch the crumbs and the cookies will come. Raise your hand if you've ever heard that statement before. Oh, good, it's a new one for you. Catch the crumbs and the cookies will come. Well, I heard this several years ago in reference to football, to American football, for those of you who are from the UK or in Australia. And what it basically meant is if you attend to all the important details of football, you will score more points than the opponents, and you will win the game. So crumbs equals details, and cookies equals success. In the world of instruction, then, crumbs are the details of instruction, and cookies are the positive student outcomes that accrue after those details have been in place for quite a bit of time. In direct instruction, as we know, there are a lot of little details. And as a matter of fact, my fraternal brother yesterday, he mentioned that as an author, they deal with, I think he said, millions of details. I'm not going to go into millions of details here, but I will talk about 3 types of details that concerns both teachers and leaders. So there are details of teacher presentation, details of setup, and then, not to mix too many metaphors here, they're kind of Easter eggs of crumbs that the authors have put. Things that may seem so innocuous or just little activities that you can go through that are these really important crumbs that if you catch and you catch consistently, you will have a really positive effect on student performance over time. So let's start with the teachers. Raise your hand if you are a teacher. Nice and high, or a teaching assistant too. Anyone who teaches, great. We've got so many of you here. Well, as you know, the DI teaching techniques are an important set of details that you need to attend to for student success. There are some other things here, filling out data and arranging the classroom, etc. But these teaching techniques, which those of you who have been in program sessions, this is what you have been focusing on. So it's following that wonderful script that has all the wording and the examples in it, observing the students, varying the pace and emphasizing keywords as needed, eliciting group responses with those wonderful signals, knowing which one when and with enough think time, modeling, providing a leading step, and testing 5, 6, and 7. That's the I do, we do, I do, we do, you do. I should know that by now, right? So 7 is testing the students, getting them to respond, correcting all errors, and managing student behavior positively. So there are a lot of details here. I've highlighted the red ones because those are the ones in which you'll have to really pay attention to individualized instruction. They'll vary by student. So some students are going to need more think time than others, and some will need to have those words emphasized more. Some students will need that leading step that we do when, especially in language, if they have difficulty producing the response. And is Evan Haney here, by the way? Evan? Yes, Evan Haney, all right. He was there at the opening. He's one of the program authors that we didn't get to recognize. Everybody give Evan a great big hand, all right, for the work he does. And so with the language program, the early language programs, there will be statements, et cetera, that kids will have difficulty producing. That's when you want to have that leading step. But it depends on the performance of the students. And as we know with regard to errors, different students will make different errors. You need to individualize response. Make sure you do a group correction, but make sure that student that made that error is firm on it by the end of the lesson. And then managing student behavior positively. Different students need different amounts of reinforcement, and so those are things that you need to individualize. Each one of those is a basket of crumbs that if you address, it will help student performance along the way. All right. Oh, I asked teachers to raise their hands, but more specifically, could you raise your hand if you are in a program session right now? I mean, not right now, but are you taking program training here at the conference? Nice and high. All right, yes. Well, you don't be shy, because you have an awesome opportunity today to go through something that's called a checkout. A checkout is an assessment by your trainer on your skills to make sure that you have the fundamental delivery and correction skills to start teaching the program effectively. You'll still need to practice. You will still benefit from coaching by experts, etc. But this means for the content and skills covered here, you're ready to get going. They are voluntary, they're optional, but I would just ask you, where else are you going to get this individualized attention by your trainer on the skills that you've been working on all week? So the trainer is going to observe you when you're in small groups and put a plus on a form if you are demonstrating that you have that skill. Or they will put an NP, which means needs practice. And I always like to say that it also means no problem. All you have to do is go practice again, and hopefully you'll get rechecked by the trainer. And once you're rechecked, it'll get circled, and it's just as good as a plus. We'll just go through these forms really quick. These are things you already know. The trainer will be looking to see if you followed the script, use appropriate signals, appropriate pace, if you're looking at the students, and whether you transition quickly between tasks. And then, so there are two parts of it, the presentation part and the correction part, and you know these correction steps. So you will benefit greatly by this checkout. And these are details of presentation that you can get affirmation on here at the conference. And they will help you help your students in the long run. Now, there may not be an opportunity for the trainer to come back and recheck you if you have a no problem or needs practice. And so if that happens, email us at training@nifdi.org, and we will do a remote follow-up checkout on those things you still need to practice on and firm up before you get going with kids. So we'll either arrange for your trainer or another trainer to go through and make sure that you have those critical teaching crumbs, delivery crumbs. And then there are a whole bunch of things once you return to your school. I did a closing keynote last year on what to do when you get back to your school, but practice, practice, practice is always good. Okay, so that was the teacher focus. Now, school leaders and district leaders, please raise your hands. Yes, I'm pleased to see several of you here, thank goodness, because there are very important details, crumbs to attend to, which make a huge difference. They include, of course, making sure that every student is placement tested so that kids are in the programs that match their skill level, that instructional groups are homogeneous and of the correct size, they're not too big, instructional materials provided by McGraw-Hill Education are purchased that correspond to the kids' needs. These are all very important things. Sufficient time scheduled daily, and sufficient time for the staff to practice. This is one that's been difficult in many of the schools that we worked with to get established. Getting those supervised practice sessions, we sometimes, our folks sometimes will zoom in to those practice sessions, but it's really important to take the same type of training that's going on here and have it take place throughout the school year as the programs change, scaffolding is dropped, et cetera. And physical arrangement of the classrooms. So this is just a select few of the setup things. If you want to learn more, why there's a real thin 522-page book that will make for easy reading, came out last year, that you may find useful, that will provide a lot more information. Okay, and now let's get to those wonderful Easter eggs, I call them, these small little details that the program authors have put there, crumbs for you to catch to make sure that those kiddos are successful. The first part of it is the incremental step design, where there's only 10 to 15% new in any lesson. So I don't know how many of you, raise your hand if you've seen this staircase. Okay, I will go through it the fast way. Then you know that for lesson 6, there's only 10 to 15% that's new, and the rest of it is review and applications. And the benefit of that is if kids are placed appropriately, if they've mastered up through lesson 5, then they just have a little bit more in lesson 6 that's new. All of those things are crumbs to make sure that they master by the end of the day. Then there is review and applications, and kids getting faster with things that were introduced in earlier lessons, that remaining 85 to 90%. So that whole structure is unique to direct instruction. If you bring kids to mastery at each of those steps, hooray, they're ready for the next step. And the science of learning folks have discovered this and other things about the direct instruction setup that corresponds exactly to the research that they have accumulated. Okay, but there's another thing that's not talked about enough, and I think it is really at the kernel. Inside that framework of incremental step design, what the program authors did is to identify the skills where kids have difficulty, and then structured the teaching of the pre-skills, the core components, these things that will look like little activities, but they're super important. So I want to go through 4 of these crumbs. I'll do it the fast way, get it? And the examples I'm going to go through are say it fast, part of phonemic awareness. Touching words, doesn't that sound simple? Yeah, a little crumb. Carrying and column addition, and whether you can add or subtract fractions, whether they have like denominators. So oral blending is an important pre-skill. Before kids can really read the word mat, they have to be able to take the sounds mat and say it the fast way, mat. To be successful, but there are kids who have problems with that. If you think about it from the kids' point of view, they've never encountered anything like that before in their experience, right? Their teacher looking at them going, Matt, say it the fast way. It's strange and unusual, and there are kids who have difficulty with it. What did the program authors do? Find a simpler version. So here we are. I will be the teacher. You guys hopefully can see it. And well, it's an oral skill, so you'll get it this way. All right, I'm the teacher. Let's play Say It Fast. Listen, peanut butter. Say it fast. Peanut butter. Yes, peanut butter. Okay, seems like a little activity. But when you do this activity with football and ice cube and soda pop, etc., that's something the kids can relate to. It's part of their experience. And then they're ready for the mat, say it fast, mat. So that will help kids get a leg up and go faster. Okay, we'll skip. Okay, we're on to the next example, touching words. So this is lesson 40. The other one was lesson 1. Starts off right away in RMSEK. This is lesson 40, worksheet. It's touching words. And I'll read the teacher presentation. You're going to read these words. My turn to touch the first ball for the first word. My turn to touch the first ball for the next word. I'm now at step C. Everybody touch the first ball for the first word. Check. Touch the first ball for the next word. Check. The teacher doesn't say check, I'm saying check because each one of those checks is a crumb to catch. Make sure that your kids are doing it. If they're not, go through it again, treat it like a game, but make sure they have that skill starting here and going forward of touching those words. Why? It'll make so much difference when you get into reading sentences, because there, as you guys know, many of you know, Kids have to touch the first word, sound it out, say it, then touch the next word. If they don't have this simple skill down, the teacher will be going around pushing fingers in different places, etc. Those are some of the crumbs to attend to. All right, let's switch to mathematics. So in column addition, what's one of the biggest problems that kids have experienced? Knowing which numeral to write where, right? What goes in the ones column, what goes in the tens column. In corrective mathematics, the addition module, they made it very straightforward. It may seem really easy to you, but it really helps kids. The circles that you see are the sums of the ones columns for the different problems. So problem A, the sum in the ones column is 25. Problem B, the sum of the ones column is 23. So all the kids have to do is write the 5 in the ones and write the 2 at the top of the tens column. That's it. And they know how to add the rest to get the right answer. So it seems really simple, but bringing kids to mastery on this is important because in several lessons this will be faded away. If they get it here, then you'll see a remarkable number of them will never mix up where to write the numerals in the ones or the tens. All right, last example, and that has to do with whether you can add or subtract fractions as they are currently written. So here the kids learn about the bottom number, and if the bottom numbers are not the same, then you can't add or subtract them. What's the task? Well, all they have to do is cross out all the problems you can't work and stop when you've done that much. And if you ever hear, stop when you've done that much, make sure to stop and make sure everyone is at mastery. That's another one of those crumbs to make sure that everyone is right on. All right, so these are just some examples. The DI programs are built around this analysis of where there are problems, what type of pre-skill do we need to teach, how can we teach it so it's simple, could even be fun. And once they know that, then the main target skill is fun, and they're going through the program. As one of my colleagues used to say, just dancing through the programs. And it doesn't matter where they start, okay? Teach them where they are. If they need more practice on something, they will get it, and then you can move on from there. All right, in the time remaining, I would like to, Gray, show a video here. This is an example of a teacher. We're going to throw some attention back on language, Evan. This is a teacher in Brownsville, Texas. She's a co-teacher, and she has been catching every teaching crumb, and she's been making sure her students come along the way with her. They've been catching every crumb. So these students, it's a small group of kids who originally spoke no English in the fall. This is filmed in December. They're doing a classification exercise, and Evan can tell you exactly how important this is for developing their higher order thinking skills. It's really a great thing. So go ahead and let's listen to Claudia and her kids.
Get ready. Animal. What kind of animal? Get ready.
A lion.
Say the whole thing about this animal. Get ready.
This animal is a lion.
Animal or container? Get ready.
Container.
What kind of container? Get ready.
A box.
Say the whole thing about this container. Get ready.
This container is a box.
Animal or container? Get ready.
Container.
What kind of container? Get ready.
A bottle.
Say the whole thing about this container. Get ready.
This container is a bottle.
Animal or container? Get ready.
Animal.
What kind of animal? Get ready.
A cow.
Say the whole thing about this animal. Get ready.
This animal is a cow.
Yeah, let's hear it for Claudia and her kids there. laying that firm foundation very simply. You could see how well she understood. Was she script bound, looking at the script? No, she knew that. Clear signals, all the kids at a high level of mastery, and having a good time as they go. So that's an example of what I was talking about last night, that primary school model of building those skills strongly at the beginning, accelerating students, and preventing all of the learning problems that can take place for so many kids later on. All right, I have some well wishes for you as we go, for instructors while you're here and beyond. I hope that you catch each crumb of how to deliver the DI programs effectively, including correction, so that you can ensure that all of your students catch all those learning crumbs. And for coaches, I hope that you can help your teachers develop their delivery and correction skills so they can help their kids catch those crumbs. And school and district leaders, my hope for you is that you can set up the implementation of DI so that coaches and teachers can concentrate on those things that make a difference with kids catching the crumbs, and that there is enough time in the schedule for them to make adequate and very good progress. And if you do those things, those of you who are experienced know, if you do those things and you do those things consistently, then you will end up over time with many, many, many crumbs. And of course, in this context, by crumbs, what we mean are students who have mastered all the pre-skills, component skills. They're waiting and ready for the more advanced content and skills, super confident and looking forward to the future, just like these students in Baltimore. So, thank you very much. Have a great rest of the conference. Here is the next year's conference dates, and we hope to see you then.
NIFDI provides implementation guidance to school and district leaders, as well as training and coaching to teachers implementing direct instruction programs to ensure that all students are successful. For more information on what NIFDI can do for your school or district, visit our website, www.nifdi.org.